you ready to heal your mind, body, and soul from the inside out? Welcome to the Real Healing Institute show with Michelle Sinclair, divine healer and spiritual teacher, where spiritual transformation meets practical guidance to break free from limiting beliefs, subconscious pain, and energetic blocks. This is a powerful space for those seeking true healing and enlightenment. Michelle's teachings are rooted in her deep study of the Christ letters and the spiritual awakening that came from her unwavering dedication to divine truth. She helps individuals navigate their inner healing journey through subconscious soul healing techniques and spiritual teachings by uplifting the vibrational resonance of our thoughts, words, and actions that shape the very fabric of our lives. It is time to learn the profound understandings of universal love. The Real Healing Institute show starts now. Hello and welcome in, everyone. My name is Michelle Sinclair. This is the Real Healing Institute show. So today we are talking about illusions. This is kind of exciting and fun. So one thing that I discovered many years ago in my work was that there is no good or bad, there is no right or wrong, but it is our thinking that makes it so. Now, I know that even a statement like that could, really get somebody if something has happened to them and they're like, oh, come on, there is something wrong, or there is bad things. But the deeper that you go into it and the more spiritual that you view this through, when you look at it through the eyes of spirit, you can see that all these things that, are supposedly bad tend to, if we do the healing within us, have an amazing outcome and perhaps even a better outcome than what there was before that incident happened, which makes us understand that all these things are working cohesively together and therefore none of them are actually bad. So an example of this would be, let's say that you are in a relationship and that ends and it ends terribly bad. And you're thinking, oh, what a horrible thing this is. What a terrible thing, has gone on here. Maybe there was, a really bad ending to it. And you think, how could this be good? Well, when you look at that and you can look at all the things and you can be like, you know what, maybe this was off too. Maybe this was here too. And then we can be more thoughtful after the fact. We can see, man, maybe there was many things that were off. Maybe there was many things that we learned from it. And maybe this ending actually wasn't a bad thing. Maybe it really was a blessing. But when we look at things in this moment, in this very second, and we judge them and we say this is bad or this is good or whatever it is, we're really taking away from the life from the life. What we're doing is we are giving ourselves the illusion of having control. And which, we don't. We feel like we're going to cling to certain things and that we have control over them, but we really don't. So, Jim Carrey's dad. I just love Jim Carrey, man. He's a great dude. He knows what's up. And so he was telling this story about his father and how his father was clinging to safety. He was sticking in a job that he didn't like, in a job that, wasn't bringing him any fulfillment, but he was like, no, but this is bringing me stability. It's providing these things for me. So he goes on for years doing something that, he doesn't truly love. He was a funny dude. There was probably so many talents and so many other things that he could have been pursuing instead, but keeping with the safety and the comfort, he chose this one path. However, eventually, even that path ended for him and he was let go from his job. So sometimes we think like, okay, I'm in control here. If I just do this, then this is the outcome that I'm going to get. But that's not always the case because everything is the spirit and the universe is going to tell us, when something's off track. So how does it do this? It does this by us feeling certain way, by, things not lining up when we really want them to line up. Or, maybe we're working on something and we keep getting interrupted and we think, God, and we want to like cling on to this control, but I need to do this. This needs to happen. I need to push and force this thing to happen. And really what we're doing is like the universe is like, here, I'm going to give you this. And we're like, nope, I don't want that. I want this thing over here. And we're trying to get something that's not even meant for us because the universe is going to deliver to us what it is that we actually need, not so the universe knows what we want. It has these It knows because of electromagnetism. When we really want something, we send out this desire, we send out this, feeling for this thing. But if we attach something to that feeling, other than just like want, like, ooh, I really want this to happen. Feel how good that feels, right? When we're like, ooh, I want that. That's good. But what happens then if we were to attach a feeling of, but I don't have it yet? Or maybe that's not meant for me. Immediately, even me just saying this, you can feel how we went from, ooh, I want that high vibe to, but I don't have it yet, this low vibe. And because the universe is just energy, that's all that it is. This world is an illusion. What we are seeing is what is reported back to us by our five senses that believes that these things are outside of us. And I know that this could sound a little bit crazy, but I've noticed this with physical healing is that time is an illusion. We don't actually need it. And all of this really is an illusion because if somebody can go from having, let's say, a tumor in their body 1 minute to the next minute, actually not having that tumor anymore, first of all, this is telling us a few things. First of all, that tumor was an illusion. Second of all, time is also an illusion because it didn't take any time to heal that thing. All of this truly is an illusion. And what it is that we are seeing is the beliefs that we have continually reported back to us, continually reported back. So going back to there is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong. It is what we believe is what we're going to see, and it's going to be reported back to us. So I know I've used this example many times, but I think it's a really good one because it really does apply. Let's say that you don't feel good about yourself and you go out and you go in public and you think, oh, people don't really like me. And you see a group of people and one of them looks over at you and then they look back at the group and they just keep talking. What do? We fill in the blanks. And so we think, oh, they don't want to talk to me. Maybe they're talking about me. Ooh, maybe they're making fun of me. Maybe they're whatever your internal workings are, is what your mind is going to tell you is happening in that situation. But it is not. It's not actually happening. It is just our belief. And it makes us feel a certain way, which certainly feels like it's really real, but it's not. It's actually just what we believe because here we go. Let's say that you believe that people really do like you and you're confident. Exact same situation happens. Exact same thing. This group of people standing over there, one of them looks over at you, and then they look back and they continue to talk to the group. What is your internal dialogue telling you then when you're really confident? You're like, oh, maybe I should go over and say hi to these people. Maybe whatever it is, you're not thinking negatively about yourself. Now, the exact same situation happened both times. Group of people, somebody looking, somebody going back. But it's what goes on up here that matters because what's going on up here and in here is what's going to determine what we believe is happening on the outside of us. So I had a situation that came up and there was, somebody, I'm sure that you can relate. I'm positive you'll be able to relate. You meet somebody and something's a little bit off, right? And you're like, oh, I don't know about this person. I'm getting, kind of a vibe about that person. But what do we do? We're like, yeah, it's probably fine. And then we brush it off and we make it into, nothing, right? We make excuses for other people. I don't know. I do this. And so, anyways, something comes out and this person ends up being, they're lying about things and they're slandering on social media and doing all kinds of things that initially, when I met this person, I got the feeling that this might be something that they would do. But of course, I brushed it off and didn't do anything about it. So, anyways, this comes out and I'm upset. I'm like angry about this. But I remembered in that moment, everything is happening for us. So yes, I was upset. I was upset for probably 30 minutes, like extremely like, are you kidding me? What is wrong with this person? And and then no, everything's happening for you. Everything's happening for you. And it was like, okay, I don't know why, but I know that it is. And so then maybe it was a little while later. I don't quite remember. This is a while ago now. But what came through to me was like, you were protected. You were protected. What we're doing is we're protecting you because if someone like that is in your life and they're going to spread lies and slander and things like this, there will be people that believe them. And we're keeping all those people far away from you. And it was like, okay. Right. So if somebody does that, more than likely they hang out with people that are also like that. I don't want that. I can't have that in my life. That's not good for me. So at the time when it happened, I was thinking, what a terrible thing this is. Like, how could this be happening? However long later, realized, like, no, remember, everything's happening for you. And then however long later, realized, oh, this was all set up by the divine to protect me. What a wonderful thing that was. But I went from living in hell, thinking what a horrible thing this is, just with my thought, to living in heaven. Now I know that this is happening for me and it's going to be okay, to then later getting the why behind it, because we always want to know the why, right? We ever since we were children, all we want to know is, yes, but why? Yes, but why? And so then when we have that, oh, we get this feeling of relief. But what happens if you're going through something, or you've gone through something and it has been this, allegedly terrible thing that you have gone through? Well, what happens if we continue to believe and think that this was some terrible thing? We are embodying that belief, that energy frequency of what a terrible thing has happened. Now, that carries a very specific frequency of terrible thing, right? And because of electromagnetism, so science proves this, but this is a spiritual nature that we can now prove with science, electromagnetism. Thank you, science. That when we send something out, it returns back to us. It will disappear for a certain amount of time, however long. It's different. We don't know. Where does it go? We don't know. But what we do know is that when a charge gets sent out, gone for a second, but then it returns back exactly as it was sent out in the exact same energetic vibration. So when we think, oh, this terrible thing has happened, we're sending that out. We're sending that out, and it will come back to us. This is karma. It doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, I did this thing to this person, so now this thing is going to happen to me. It is our thoughts that are our karma. And I don't know how many days you've gone without thinking, but probably zero, just like the rest of us here on this planet. And not only not without thinking, but thousands, thousands of thoughts. And so if we were to look at the percent, you could ask yourself right now, what percent of my thoughts are bringing me things that I want? And what percent is bringing me things that I don't want? What percent of the thoughts that I have deplete me, take away my energy, take away the life within me? And which ones build me up, give me joy, give me happiness, laughter, and build up real life inside of me? Ask yourself what percent. Then we're going to ask ourselves why. Why is it like that? Are we addicted to this negative thinking? So there's ways that we can get ourselves out of this. Or is this positive thinking something that you've been working on, something that you are switching those negative thoughts? Because thoughts are electric. They're electric. So they are part of this electromagnetism. You cannot escape the things that you think. So I know we're told, we have free will when we're here, and we totally do. But this is what it is. Our free will is the choice to choose between hell and heaven, thought to thought, second to second, moment to moment. And every time that we feed this one, we get it, it gets bigger, right? What happens when you feed something? It gets bigger. And what happens when you feed something else? Well, that gets bigger too. So which one do you want to feed? But through unawareness of not even knowing that this is what we're doing, we continue to do these things. So all of our programming that we have is subconscious. And this subconscious programming is feeding the illusion that we have outside of ourselves. And every time that, something happens that reinforces something that we already think, we say, see, I knew that that was going to happen, right? Oh, this always happens to me. An example would be, you get into a relationship and somebody, betrays you. Okay, so this has happened how many times? Okay, well, this is how it is, Look, there's more proof. See, it happened again. The only thing that you're actually getting proof of is the thing that you believe. And it is because you've been carrying this energetic code, this embodiment of this happens to me all the time. You were truly embodying it. And that's why you're looking for it to happen again, because you've embodied this particular energy. And so these things continually happen. And yes, I know that they have actually happened and that they've happened in a pattern. But the underlying reason is because there is something in your subconscious that you're probably very unaware of that is dictating and that is determining that. And it's all these beliefs that we have inside of us. And I know it seems like, oh, how could a belief cause this or that? It truly does. And it truly is actually that simple. When we believe that we're not good enough and that we're not worthy, we will get things that will prove that to us outside of ourselves. But when we believe that we are, we will get things that prove that to us instead. The world is actually an illusion. So when I was up at my cabin and I had this amazing enlightenment come through, but I feel the need to tell you this. The reason why I went there in the first place was because I had had something horrific, the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life, happen to me. And I was like, man, I got to get over this thing. Like I need to forgive this person, and I can't live this way anymore because I didn't even want to live at that point. And honestly, had I not had children and had I, what I would off myself. I couldn't even. It was the worst thing ever. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not an option. So I guess I have to heal it, which doesn't it seem like we get to this point, right? And when we get to that point, amazing and wonderful things happen, but we got to get into the pits of hell so that we can, go all the way up to heaven. So, anyways, I go to the cabin. And my intent in going up there was to find forgiveness for this particular person and to gain enlightenment. I had been studying the Christ letters for years at this point, and I would have, like it talks about in the Christ letters, I would have these little bursts come through of just illumination. My brain would light up. I would get all these downloads and all of this information, and I would be like on the heights of like, man, you just feel like you're the happiest, most joyful that you've ever been in your entire life. And it was so amazing. And then I would start to think about it. And I was, living with my ex at the time. And so that was not, supportive of anything spiritual. And so it wouldn't last. It would dwindle so quickly. Something would be sad. I would start to doubt myself. I would whatever. And then this would fade away. And I'd be left with like this feeling of, oh, I did it again. Why did I doubt? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? So, anyways, I go up to the cabin. So I know that this is not only possible, but I knew it was going to happen because my faith was so strong and so powerful that I was like, it's going to happen because I'm not leaving until it happens. And it actually happened very quickly after I had arrived. I forgave and had gone through, a series of emotions. And when this came through to me, it completely changed everything that I thought because I understood at that point that there actually is nothing that is bad because the worst thing in the world that I wanted to off myself about had happened. And I now gained the most precious gift that this universe has to offer because that happened. Because I was seeking healing, because I was seeking something. I just needed something from this. And because that happened, I got that. And so I believe, had that not happened, I wouldn't have been seeking. I wouldn't have been so desperate to, have a solution to this. And I don't know that this enlightenment would have ever come through. So the fact that now I see this, that I suffered for such a long time with that. It was months and months and months of not even wanting to get out of bed, not even like I don't want to go face the public. I don't want to anything. It was awful. And to go from that and thinking these terrible, horrible things to then this precious gem of a jewel, the most glorious, wonderful thing that exists in the earth. What a wonderful thing that was. So what did this teach me? That wasn't a bad thing. And that I was putting myself through 6 months of hell, actual hell, because of the way that I was thinking and believing about it. But we only know these things when we learn them, right? So then after that, if something, perceivably negative happened, I was like, okay, well, last time this was something really good. So I'm just going to believe that. And so then what happens? Okay. So then over the year, I had, a couple incidents, like a day I'd get a text and it'd be like, what a terrible thing. And it was like, no, 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 this is going to be good. This trying to upset me like this is a wonderful thing. I know that this too is a blessing. And so because I wasn't giving it my time and my hell thoughts, I then would get the result about the next day, maybe 2 days later, of feeling elated and feeling absolutely amazing because I wasn't giving into the old hell, which is so easy to do. It's so easy to do. People can become addicted to it. They become addicted to being critical, to being judgmental, to being unhappy, to finding problems. They actually are addicted to it, but it is because of this subconscious wiring that we're completely unaware is going on, and it's running in the background. But it's not just the background, man. It's running your entire life. I think that there was some study, something that said that 96% of what you do is subconscious. And I'm like, I don't even agree with that. I think it's 100% because every choice that you make has come from somewhere. And it comes from our subconscious mind. And there will be, hurt children running around in us, all kinds of issues that we got going on inside of us. And they're running the show. And we don't know that that's what's happening because we're just us. We're just so used to this. And it's only when you go in and you actually do subconscious work that you can discover these things. I will have clients that will come and they'll say, I have this issue. Well, I think that this was when it started. They're almost always wrong because the issue that they recall that they're like, oh, I think that this is where it started, actually started before that. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you believe that your stage fright issue started when you went to do a presentation in class when you were in grade 2, something like this. Okay, but why? Why was there fear there? What happened to make that fear be present at that time? Something had to have happened before that happened to make you feel that way at that time. And so we don't even realize what has really transpired in our subconscious mind. I had, a woman who believed that she was unlovable. And she was almost 70 when she came to me, believing she's unlovable, felt this way her whole entire life. Parents were wonderful. She's the favorite child, like, didn't understand why she was feeling this way. So I take her back. We regress back. And she goes back to infancy, laying in a crib, and a sibling is standing over top of her. She was the baby in the family and saying mean things. But she was so little, she didn't know what was being said. She was just feeling the energy, and it was not good. Like, she's not welcome here. You're not loved. This is not okay. And so this woman has gone almost her entire life feeling unlovable for no reason other than something happened to her when she was an infant, but she could not consciously recall it. But when you go into the subconscious, all of that information is present. Many people will come into this world feeling like they are unwanted, like they're unloved. And it has began in the womb because they were picking up the mother's stressed out energy. Who knows what was going on in her life at that time? But because everything is always about us, right? We make everything about us. We take that on and we believe, oh, this is about me. I'm not loved. I'm not wanted. And we go that way our whole entire life. And we think that this is just how we are, but it's not. It can be healed. It doesn't need to be this way. Now, the illusion that is going on around us is truly what I believe is the spirit. I believe this illusion is the spirit making itself, presenting itself to us in so many different ways. It could present to us in a pen. In fact, one day I was sitting there and I realized, man, even a pen is the spirit. There's nothing that isn't. Every single thing is the spirit, and it's all trying to communicate with us and to tell us how to make our lives better and more enjoyable. And our body is exactly the same, right? We're just spirit molecules. And so if there's something inside of your body that's not feeling good, if there's a sore part, if there's a disease, if there's an ailment, if there's anything, all that this is information. All it is information. It's not because of this or because of that. It is truly information. And it is saying, hey, man, you need to stop being pissed off at that person. Hey, man, you need to forgive that person over there. Hey, man, that resentment that you got, it's not cool. That frustration, that stress that you're dealing with all the time, you need to heal that. Because anytime that we're dealing with these negative, low vibrational energies, what's happening is the normal life that is meant to be in these parts of our body is being depleted. There's a fabulous book written by Michael Lincoln. He has since passed. What a man! What a man! Man, he's written a million books, but there's one specifically about the body. And it will tell you different options. It'll give you a whole bunch of different options of what it could be. But let's say you got a sore end of your finger, this segment of your finger, it will specifically tell you in there what the issue is, the emotional issue that is going on. So when I first moved to Sedona, I had altitude sickness. It's about 4,500 feet here. And so I come and it's like, oh, I've got this bit of a headache and whatever else. It was like, oh, altitude sickness. And it was like, okay, well, we know that that's an illusion, that that's not real. It's trying to tell us something else. So look it up in the book. By the time that I had finished reading the paragraph about what it was, my symptoms were gone. Because all your body is trying to do is to give you information. It's just trying to tell you something so that you can make your life better. It's saying, heal this, do this, forgive that person, love yourself more, give yourself more time. Don't only give kindness to other people, you got to give it to yourself too. There's so many wonderful things that it can tell you. Now, I just want to finish off here with this today because this is about illusions. I need you to know that time is the biggest illusion of them all. That things don't take time. They actually don't take time. Everything happens in divine timing. But if you have something physically going on with you, or you have something in your life, it is not time that does it. It is when the belief shifts, it's when the energy shifts, and when it aligns differently that all of a sudden the relief and the healing comes. And so just think about your energy and think about where it is that you're at, what vibration you're resonating at. Do you have a vibration that expects bad things to happen to you or to come to you? Because they will. But when you clear that up, when you get rid of that belief within you that believes that bad things happen or whatever it is, then you're emanating a different energy and you're going to get that return back. But you got to be patient because you spent your whole entire life building up, these things that we were completely unaware that we were doing. And so when we shift them, it does take a bit of time, but it's actually not time. What it is truly shifting those beliefs that we have that are underlying within us. So this is what I have for you guys here today. If you want more, you can follow me on YouTube under the Real Healing Institute. I have a series on there called the Mental Cleanse series. It is free hypnotherapy, over 40 videos on there, and I have created the most wonderful childhood wound healing course as well that you will be able to check out through my website. That is therealhealinginstitute.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining the Real Healing Institute show with me, Michelle Sinclair. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for more empowering ways to spread love and set yourself free. Together, we'll elevate the consciousness of the planet. Stay connected. Follow me on social media, subscribe to the podcast, and explore the Mental Cleanse series on YouTube. Ready to go deeper? Book a session with Michelle at therealhealinginstitute.com. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and remember, love is the only way.